Hi guys, Shauna here, and this week's video we're going to be focusing a bit on our shoulders. We've had a couple people that have asked for some shoulder stuff. Last week we worked on hip openers that did not require us to be seated. A lot of these shoulder openers we will be seated for, so if this is difficult for you, feel free to do the first half of hip openers instead if you want. One of the reasons I kind of do these videos like this, you can do the two videos together each week, but you can also mix and match to make your own full class. You can have half hour of seated or reclined hip openers and then do a half hour of standing shoulders. It's entirely up to you, and that's kind of why I'm structuring it this way. If you're having a hard time sitting, feel free to do the other video instead, because we will be seated for quite a lot of these shoulder openers, especially in the beginning. So we are going to come into our breath as usual. I'm going to go ahead and settle down, and if your hips are tight, you can do this lying down instead of seated first if you want to wait to bring yourself up into the seated posture. You go ahead and breathing in and out through your nose. Start to settle into your breath. Now, as some of us know, there are 8 limbs of yoga. The asana, which are the physical poses that we practice, are just one of 8 limbs. One of the other limbs is pranayama, which is breath work. So while we're here, I figure we may as well explore a little bit of breath work and start developing that area as well. As many of you that know me personally know, meditation can be incredibly helpful. It's almost like a little superpower that helps you slow down time and be able to process things and kind of separate yourself from your experiences and just have a better overall understanding and connection. So not to go all hippie on you, we're gonna go ahead and go into some breathing. And we're gonna do our box breath, which is really, really effective for helping to relieve anxiety. I may have done this one in a video before, I can't recall. I do this quite often when teaching classes in person. We're gonna inhale for 4, hold for 4, and then exhale for 4. And we're gonna do this for about a minute or 2. And we're just gonna start coming into our breath. And I wanna preface, always gently guide yourself back to your breath. Don't worry and don't get frustrated or don't judge yourself if you lose your train of thought. You know, with meditation, we're not meant to be trying to clear our thoughts out. That's still actively pushing things away. We really want to be able to just kind of sit back and observe them passing without feeling the need to attach and grab onto them. And if we do accidentally attach and grab onto a thought, we just gently release and come back. Again, without judging, without feeling like we failed. You can't succeed in meditation by clearing your mind, because again, that is exactly an active thing that you're doing. So just letting yourself be is how you can get into this meditative state. So coming into our breath, settling down. Maybe checking it with our posture real quick, seeing how we feel. Feel free to be lying on your back supine if you want. Take whatever feels best for you for this breath work. And we're going to go ahead and inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Go ahead at your own pace. I'll give you some space to practice this on your own. And again, don't judge yourself if your mind wanders. Just very gently, very kindly bring yourself back to the breath. And again, if your mind wandered, just gently bringing yourself back. Using the next 30 seconds to begin again. Not worrying about if you got distracted before. And just starting again, coming back to that box breath. Good. Wherever you are, you can keep your eyes closed. Start to bring your breath back to normal and just notice how that feels. Notice if you feel calm and relaxed from that box breath. This is really, really effective if you deal with anxiety, to help kind of bring you back to center, bring you back into yourself. I had a friend recently tell me that she didn't really understand what I meant when I would always say, come into your breath. And this is kind of what I mean by it, as in just find this connection within yourself and your breath, nothing else going on, just drawing yourself in. And just take a second here before we start to move. And I want you to, this is another thing that I do quite often in my in-person classes, is I want you to find one thing that you're grateful for. It can be big, it can be small, it can be that you have a body that can move. It can be that you have the time to do this for yourself. It can be that you have your dog here. It can be whatever, anything big or small. You can be grateful for coffee. I'm grateful for coffee every day. So anything that you want. Just take a second, settle in, and start to roll your shoulders up to your ears. Good. If you're lying supine, you can gently begin to make your way to your Sukhasana or your easy seat. Just start rolling the shoulders up and back. And again, this is going to be a practice focused on our shoulders. And I will say, you can open up your eyes now if you want. Majority of the people that requested this shoulder video are guys, and guys tend to have this is not me stereotyping, this is just from my own experience. You guys tend to have the hardest time meditating, so I wanted to make sure I included some breath work before we get into the shoulder stuff. Good, so go ahead and inhale both arms up. Reach, reach, reach. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your hips side to side. Just get a little bit of warmth into the side body here. We're going to start getting right into some big shoulder openers. So we're going to go into cactus arms first. We're going to come here and draw our shoulders down and back, retracting our shoulder blades back, pulling the elbows back. Good, breathe here. So we're going to start by making these circles, but we're going to keep our elbows bent as best we can. We're not going to come in here yet. We're just going to stay right here, and we're just going to, we're swimming. This is like a swimming motion, and I want you to extend your arm out and then bend it as you come back. So reaching forward and reaching around. Good. This is nice, again, you're swimming. Just go ahead and imagine yourself swimming. Really getting into the lats, getting into the traps. This is getting us all warm and moving. There's a reason why swimmers have such nice shoulders. Good, breathe. Now we're gonna go ahead and inhale both arms up. Cactus arms once again. And now we're gonna try to go backwards. And this is gonna be really, really interesting. As you come backwards, you're gonna have to rotate your arm and pull it in. So go slow at first. We're coming up and backwards. Good. Up and back. And as you come around, you almost are tucking your hand in your pocket. This is a little bit of yoga for the brain too, because it's really getting you moving. And one of the reasons why we do motions like this specifically with shoulders is because our shoulder is a ball and socket joint. And most of our joints in our body are synovial joints. And synovial fluid is this lubricating fluid that kind of begins to secrete with movement and helps us to lubricate the joint, make mobility a little bit easier. Good, and we're switching side to side. Keep going. Inhale both arms up. And now we can make the circles that we're used to making. So now we can just make these big arm circles one at a time. You can go outside, do whatever you need to here. You can go ahead and swing your arms in circles back, swing them forward. So this is really helping us to lubricate the shoulder joint. This is a really good dynamic movement you can do before any kind of physical activity to help prep the joint really, to get it feeling good before you do anything. Specifically for a lot of us that do jujitsu, we all know that getting the shoulders moving is really important. We're gonna go ahead and bend at the elbow. So this time we're bending at the elbows here like this, and we're kind of throwing our elbows forward. Good. Notice the different areas of your back that are turning on. Our shoulders are really connected, obviously, to our neck, our chest, and our back. So we're going to feel all these different things going on in different areas. Good. Go ahead and inhale, both arms up. We're going to open up all the way out to the side. We're going to reach and grab the walls behind us. Sorry, besides us, not behind us. Our palms are facing forward. We're going to draw the elbows down, retracting the shoulders, opening up the pecs here. So you're going to start to feel the front of the chest open up. Rotate, bring the palm to face up. Good. Now you start feeling the traps and the triceps engage. Good. Draw the elbows down, thumbs back. Good. Breathe here. You may feel this all the way through your forearm to your fingers even. Good. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Inhale, both arms up. We're going to go ahead and interlace our hands. Flip our palms to face up and push up like a nice big morning stretch. Good. Breathe here. And it's okay to shrug your shoulders and then inhale up and then draw them back down. Good. Inhale, push up. Exhale, draw back down. Good. And you may start to feel these rhomboids activating. You're going to start to feel some heat happening in the upper back. So inhale up once more. Exhale, open nice and wide. We're going to release some of that tension and we're going to go ahead and swing our arms open, closed. So this is something that we do in jiu-jitsu quite a lot that I don't think people do enough in anything else. And again, if you are new to, if you do yoga but you've never done jiu-jitsu, but you're new to me, you will notice that I include a lot of jiu-jitsu based movements in a lot of these things because they are really good dynamic warm-ups to help with mobility. So as we swing our arms open and close, back and forth, we're switching one arm on top than the other. And feel free to move your legs around. We are sitting here for quite some time. If this is really hurting your hips, you can do this seated in Virasana. This will give you a nice little quad stretch as well. So always feel free to take whatever modification works best for how you want to be seated. Again, I know a lot of us have tight hips or tight quads. So whatever feels best for you. So we're swinging open and closed. Good, just a little bit longer. As we swing, we're going to eventually go and we're going to go ahead and hug ourselves. So we're going to swing. We're going to make sure we swing with our right arm over our left. Right hand comes to left shoulder. Left hand comes to right shoulder. Right elbow is on top. Draw our elbows down, chin up. Good. Breathe here. You're going to start feeling this in the rhomboids and a little bit in the traps too. If you have this accessible to you and you'd like to go into your eagle arms, you're going to go ahead and hook the right elbow over top of the left and bring the backs of your palms together. If you're super able to, you're going to bring both palms together like this. So if you guys can see, we're here like this. Good. So but it's up to you. If this is a little bit too hard for your shoulder, you can just stay right here. Try whatever feels best for you. Be wherever you need to be and let yourself be there. Good. So this is going to be our eagle arms, and where we are, if we have our hands on our shoulders or our hands bent, we're going to play with our elbow placement to see what feels best for you. We're really going to get into like the upper traps here. If we lift up, good. Breathe, draw down. Find what feels best. Good. Breathe one more nice deep breath. We're going to go ahead and inhale, lift our elbows up, and as we exhale, we're going to shake our arms out, release. Inhale all the way up. Exhale. Good. We all know I love these. We're going to go ahead and inhale up once more. Exhale. Good. And come back to swinging. And then we're going to get back to the other side. So again, feel free to sit however feels best for you. This is one where whatever, so you can even do this while seated in a chair if you really need to. If for the beginning of this, you can sit in a chair. I should have mentioned that at the beginning, but now you know. We're going to go ahead and keep swinging, and then we're going to do the opposite side. So as we swing, we're going to end up with our left arm over onto our right shoulder, right arm over to our left shoulder. And same thing as before, we hang out here. We notice how this feels. Trying not to shrug our shoulders up. We really want to pull our shoulders down from our ears. That way we can start really feeling it in those rhomboids. This is helping the protraction of our shoulders. And just as we did before, we're going to try to hook one elbow on top of the other. Reach our arms around for our eagle arms. Good. Breathe wherever you are. Again, play with the alignment that you have. Pull the elbows up or down. Find what your sweet spot is. A lot of us are different and tight in different areas. So don't worry if you don't feel it in the exact same way that I do, because my shoulders may be tight in this particular area because of something that you don't do. You know, we all have different bodies. And I think it's really important to remember to acknowledge that. To breathe wherever you are. Maybe lift the elbows up. Bring them back down. I'm going to go ahead and inhale up. Exhale, release. Good. Shake them out once more. We're going to go ahead and rotate around the elbow now. So this is predominantly lubricating our elbows, but you will find some mobility in the shoulder too. We're just gonna circle like we're spinning something. Good, breathe here. Good. Inhale, both arms up. And go ahead and exhale, open nice and wide like we're having a big morning stretch, and we're gonna try to interlace our hands behind our back. So we're turning our palms inwards to face behind us, drawing our hands together. So we're coming here, drawing our hands together, pulling our knuckles down as best we can. If we can bring our hands to touch that, great. If this is too hard, we're just gonna come and grab opposite forearms or even over to opposite elbows, whatever feels best for you. I like to grab both hands together, draw the knuckles down, lift the chin, lift the chest. Good, breathe here. And in and out through the nose. Good. Go ahead and inhale, lift, lengthen the chest. Draw the knuckles down a little bit more if you can. And then go ahead and inhale, lengthen once more. Exhale, release your hands to the side, shake them out. We're gonna start to come a little bit into our tabletop. So wherever we're seated, if we're on our knees or if we're cross-legged, we're gonna roll over forward to our tabletop. And we're gonna start finding our balance here. Oop. We're gonna go ahead and bring our hands underneath our shoulders. Knees about hips width distance apart, coming into our tabletop here. So we're gonna go real quick just through a little bit of cat-cow to get the rest of our body warmed up. So we're gonna inhale, lift the chin, drop the belly, lift the tailbone high. Exhale, chin into your chest, round your spine. Pushing out. Good. Inhale, lift the chin, drop the belly, lift that tailbone. Engage the core though, making sure we're not just dumping into our spine. Exhale, chin into the chest, round. Inhale, lift the chin, drop the belly, lift the tailbone. Exhale, chin into our chest. We're gonna start coming into one of my all-time favorite shoulder openers, which is called Thread the Needle. So I'm gonna show you guys me coming through this side first. So we're gonna go ahead and plant our left hand, bring our weight into our left hand nice and strong and firm. Inhale the right arm up, reach towards the sky, nice big opening stretch. As we exhale, we come through, bring this right hand underneath us, palm facing up. So we're gonna go ahead and slide it through, thread it underneath, coming onto our right shoulder. So our right shoulder is coming down to the mat. Good, breathe. Yep. Breathe wherever you are here. You should really feel this opening up the back of the right shoulder. There are several variations you can take here. If you know a more advanced modification, feel free to do so. If you'd like, you can take this left hand, inhale it up and plant it on the small of your back, palm down, or you can try to reach all the way around to grab the opposite thigh, whatever feels best for you. Good, breathe wherever you are. So whatever variation you want to take. Good, breathe. Again, this is one of my all-time favorite shoulder openers. If you want, you can leave this left hand planted on the mat and kind of push a little bit into that right shoulder. Good. Wherever we are, bringing that left hand back. Preparing to push into the left hand. Inhaling, peeling this right arm all the way up, reaching nice and high. Good, breathe here, exhale, plant it down. Going into the other side, we're gonna go ahead and inhale, peel the left arm up, weight is in our right hand, exhale, thread it through, coming onto our left shoulder. Good, breathe here. And again, we have several options. We can go ahead and keep that right hand planted if we want. We can inhale that right arm up and back and bring it to the small of our back, or try to wrap it around and grab the opposite thigh. It's up to you, whatever modification or variation you would like to take. And just breathe wherever you are. And breathing in and out through the nose. One more nice deep breath here. If your right hand is lifted, go ahead and bring it and place it back down. We're gonna go ahead and bring our weight into our right hand, peel that left arm through. Inhale, open all the way up, nice big stretch. Exhale, come down. Good, breathe here. Go ahead and settle back into our tabletop and just take a second here to wake up our hips. I know we're focusing on shoulders, but we do want to give our hips a little bit of love too. So feel free to find some movement, rocking side to side, back and forth. We're gonna come into our puppy pose. And as most of you know, with all of yoga, I say this all the time, there's no one pose that does just one thing. A lot of our poses have multiple benefits. So we're gonna go ahead and bring our knees nice and wide, settle down for a quick child's pose. We're gonna come into our puppy pose, and our puppy pose is gonna get a lot more into these shoulders. So as we're here in our child's pose, we're just gonna start slowly walking ourselves forward until we can possibly bring our chest to the ground. Good. Breathe here. So our hips are lifted. Perfect. Breathe wherever you are. This is also called heart to earth pose. This is really going to help us get into the front of the pecs. So these are our pec major here and our pec minor are really going to be helped with this. So breathe wherever you are. And this is a pose you can do against a wall. Just breathe. Nice and slow, sit yourself back to child's pose. Just kind of shift back. And take a second here, check in with your breath. We're going to walk forward once again, but this time we're going to go into the tricep variation of this. So we're going to go ahead and point our elbows down, make a little shark fin here, and go ahead and pull our hips back as we keep the elbows flat. And if this is too easy, you just walk your elbows a little bit farther away from you. Good, breathe. You'll start feeling this getting very much into the triceps, but also into our lats. So when we do shoulders, we really do have to be mindful of all the other body parts that really interact with our shoulders. Our lats are a big one, and obviously our arm muscles are as well. So while we're working on the shoulders, we're also working on all of these muscles in the same area. So we're in this tricep lat stretch here. Breathing. Good. Nice and slow. We're going to go ahead and pull forward. We're going to put our arms flat, and we're going to come into our Sphinx pose. So we're going to have our hands out in front of us like an 11. 2 parallel lines. Slowly shift forward, bring your belly down. Pull back here. So good. Breathe wherever you are. Take a second to settle into your Sphinx. This is going to get into your low back as well. Drawing your shoulders down from your ears. I want you to take your right ear to your right shoulder. You'll feel this really nice and deep in your left side of your neck. Good. Breathe here. We're going to go ahead and bring our right ear to our right shoulder. Good. Breathing in and out through the nose. Good. Nice and slow. We're going to come back to center. And we're just going to transition all the way onto our bellies. So we're going to be nice and flat on our stomachs. Let's hang out here. Settle yourself down. We're going to go ahead and extend our arms out like a T. So I hope you guys can see this properly. I'm going to keep my right arm extended perpendicular to my body, and I'm going to begin to roll onto my right side. So I'm going to go ahead and use my left hand to help lift me up here, right? So I'm rolling, I'm keeping my right shoulder grounded, using my left hand to help me, and I'm going to start rolling onto my right side and dropping my left leg behind me. Good. So my right arm is extended out perpendicular to my body at a 90-degree angle. So my right arm is straight out. Good. So my left arm is helping support here. My left toes are touching back down. Good. Breathe. My right arm is also palm down. And breathe wherever you are. This is really getting into that right pec muscle. And if you can, if you'd like, you can inhale, lift that left arm. See if you can interlace your hands behind your back. Some days I can do it, some days I can't. It's okay if you can't. Good. So breathe wherever you are. Opening up the chest here. Good. Nice and slow. We're going to roll onto our belly. Switch sides. So left arm extends out perpendicular. I keep saying parallel. Perpendicular to the body. So our left arm is out straight, palm down. We begin to roll onto our left side. Right hand is here for support. We begin to roll. We touch these right toes down. Good. So breathing here again, opening up this left pec. And again, this is another pose that does have a variation against the wall. Just breathing here. And again, if you want, you can inhale, lift that right arm. See if you can bring your hands to touch behind your back. Like I said, some days I can't, some days I can, some days I can't. Just breathe wherever you are. Good. Nice and slow. We're going to go ahead and roll back to our belly. Right hand comes down to support us. We're going to take a second here and just settle onto our mat. You can use your hands as a pillow. Or just take a second and settle down. Come back into your breath. I promise this is a yoga pose. It's a very comfy one. So just breathing here, taking a second to check in with your shoulders, see how you feel. We're doing a lot of shoulder stretching here. We're really not doing too many strengthening exercises, but it's okay. This is more about opening up the shoulders. Good. Whenever we're ready, we're just going to go ahead and plant our palms underneath our shoulders, come into a nice little baby cobra. So we're going to lift our chest, lift our chin. Breathe here, lifting just our shoulders off the mat. And then we're going to go ahead and lift all the way into our high cobra, taking a deep bend in our elbows, pulling our chest through, drawing our shoulders down from our ears. Really opening up the chest here, pushing our hip bones into the mat. Breathing here. Good. Take a second. Again, maybe shake your neck out. Breathe wherever you are. Bend the knees, shift the hips back. Come to your child's pose. So take a second here. Settle down. I lost my hair tie, which is why I keep flipping my hair everywhere. So bear with me, guys. Just breathe here. Settle down for your child's pose with the option to once again take a puppy pose if you would like. And just breathe here. Nice and slow, we're gonna come on through and we're gonna come back to our easy seat. So we're just gonna go ahead and sit through our hands, come into our easy seat. Again, if you'd like to take a Virasana and sit on your knees instead, if you have tight hips, that's okay too. We're gonna go ahead and round this out, wind it down with just a few more. We got our body a little bit more warmed up, a little bit more mobile. Again, and these poses that we're doing here can all be done in whatever order feels best for you. I like to get a few more things moving. I like to warm up my lower back as well. So we're gonna go ahead and inhale, sweep the arms up. Reach, reach, reach. We're gonna go ahead and bend the right elbow. Right palm comes face down to the top of our back. We're gonna go ahead and open up the left arm all the way out. Our palm is going to internally rotate. And we're gonna go ahead and bring our back of our hand to our low back here. So this is our Gomukhasana arms. If we can, we're gonna go ahead and interlace our fingers, but a lot of us can't, and that's okay. So this is another one that I can do sometimes. For the sake of showing you guys, if you have any kind of towel or belt or strap, you can utilize this to help you here in this pose. So just as a heads up, you can come here with this. And this will help you get even more into the shoulders. And you can pull up or down and just gradually work on your mobility here. So wherever you are, with strap or without, we're just gonna go ahead and release. So if you're here, we're gonna inhale up all the way and then do the opposite side. So left elbow is going to bend, palm comes face down to the top of your back. The right hand internally rotates, palm facing out to your low back. And you will find more often than not that one side is going to be much tighter than the other. My right shoulder is infinitely tighter than my left, so this motion is really hard on this shoulder. So again, if you have something accessible to you like a belt or a strap or even a dog leash, anything to help you pull in here. Good, and we wanna make sure we're not curving our spine here, we're still maintaining our good posture. So breathing in and out through the nose. Good. Again, take your time. And whenever you're ready, just nice and slowly begin to release. I'm gonna keep this angle here. We're gonna go ahead and inhale, both arms up. Reach, reach, reach. We're gonna exhale, open nice and wide. And we're gonna go ahead and bring both hands behind our back like we did before, but this time we're just gonna bring our fists together. So this is quite like what we did before, but before we were interlacing. Now we're going and bringing our knuckles to touch, pushing our hands into each other. So we're breathing here, lifting, lengthening. This is internal rotation of the shoulders. And this is actually, if you do jiu-jitsu, this is the kind of motion that is happening when you are being kimura'd or omoplata'd. So this is actually quite good for helping you develop a little bit of a healthy resistance and greater mobility in the shoulder joint. So breathe wherever you are. And if this is comfortable for you, you're going to begin by pushing your thumbs together and rotating your thumbs down to bring the outer edge of your pinky to your back. And you'll start feeling, again, if you do jujitsu, you will feel that Kimura motion. So breathe here. Good. This is really stretching and strengthening all the different muscles of the rotator cuff to help with shoulder stability. But I do recommend to please do this slowly and listen to your body. Good. Breathe wherever you are. And if you are super comfortable here and you want to go into the full reverse prayer, that is the end goal. So feel free to focus on whatever variation you would like to take. Again, even if you just want to sit here, or if this is too hard for you, you can just come here. Okay, we'll gradually work on rotating the wrists. So whatever feels best for you. One more nice deep breath here. I'm just going to go ahead and relax our hands down. I'm going to shake out our shoulders, shake out our wrists. And again, that one's quite difficult, especially if you have tight wrists. So again, I know a lot of us in jiu-jitsu have wrist locks. It's a little bit of a wrist lock motion as well with that reverse prayer. It can help you do better with rolling and not getting wrist locked. So wherever we are, we're going to inhale up once more. We're going to go ahead and exhale, bend the elbows, bring the hands to the tops of our shoulders. We're going to get one last little circular rotation going on before we wind down. And as always, you can follow this up with this week's video or switch to a different one, whatever feels best for you. The standing sequence is not going to be as shoulder heavy, but there will be a lot of shoulder elements involved. So go ahead and roll it out. Maybe bring both elbows up and forward, roll them around. Take a second here, draw them back, almost like you're going to pull your elbows to touch behind you. This really helps us to open up the pecs here. Quite often, I mean, again, I always reference jiu-jitsu, but if you're sitting at a desk all day or hunching over, or even if you're on your phone, whatever you're doing, we're always in this rounded, really, really bad posture. I mean, to be fair, the only posture that's bad is the one that we spend too much time in. So if you were like this all day, every day, it would still be bad too. We want to make sure that whatever we are doing habitually, we're doing enough to counteract it. And especially, I know a lot of people that requested the shoulders are my jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai friends. We're always in this small, compact, rounded thing. So opening up the chest like this, inhaling, reaching out, drawing the elbows back. You can even come up a bit and then pull back. This like cactus goddess arms going on. It's so simple, but it really, really helps to open up the shoulders here. Just when we do this, we want to make sure we're not hunching our shoulders up. We want to draw them down and pull them back. Good. Inhale one more time. Reach, reach, reach. Wiggle it out. Side to side. Good. Nice and slow. Exhale, hands to the heart. Take a second. Settle here. We're going to do one last little rotation before we end. So our hands are in prayer, right? We have our hands lifted. We have our sternum lifted to our thumb. We're going to go ahead and keep our hands pushing actively together. So we're being active here. We're going to go ahead and rotate our fingertips down. Good. Breathe here. Draw the fingertips all the way down towards your mat if you can. Feel that in your shoulders. Good. This gets into the delts. Breathe, breathe, breathe. This is also a little bit of wrist mobility. Good. Making sure, again, we're not shrugging our shoulders up. We're drawing them down. That we really feel this in the delts and the upper traps. Breathe. Good. Now inhale your hands back up. Take a second here. Check back in your breath. Check back in with your breath. Settle back in. We're going to inhale up one last time. Reach. Exhale, shake it out. And just take a second, take any extra wiggles. This was a bit less wiggly than we normally are. There's so many other things that we can do for shoulders. There's so many options. There's so many ways that you can utilize the belt. I didn't want to include this because this is a very belt dependent stretch, but I will tell you guys, if you have something like a belt or a yoga strap or a dog leash, you can inhale both arms above your head and open up nice and wide. So you want it to be at least as long as your knees are wide. But if it's tight, if it's smaller, it'll just be a little bit more intense. So if you have anything, like I said, you can even take a towel. This is really good to just help this shoulder mobility. I will do a whole separate video on shoulder stretches with a belt or a strap because this is a very, very useful tool, but I did not want to do an overwhelming amount in this video. I wanted this to be something that people can do without any props. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you find these stretches useful. A lot of shoulder mobility, you know, a lot of the times it's our necks and our traps as well. There's a whole separate video that I've made for necks and shoulders, for your neck and your shoulders. So feel free to check that one out. If a lot of your tension is up here, we stretch out the scalene muscles, we stretch out the levator scap. There's so much that you can do for this whole area. Shoulder tension is typically not just shoulders, it is very often your neck, your pecs, and your back. So as always, take a little bit more mindful, full body approach. Take all these things you learn, put them together in a way that works for you, and I will stop rambling. But thank you, as always, for joining me, and I hope you guys enjoy this.